Yes, sir. You
Hello,
can
good
start.
evening, one and all. I heartily welcome to our today's guest of the second session, Dr. Hemlata Patel ma'am, and all the participants. I would like to request and invite Ms. Vidya Mohite madam for the short introduction of today's speaker. Just in 1 minute.
Okay, sir.
Mohite madam.
Good evening. Welcome to all of you. It is a great pleasure to me start this session. I am going to introduce today's guest lecturer, Dr. Hemlata Patel, ma'am. Ma'am currently working as assistant professor, Department of Geography, SPPU, Pune since 2009. Ma'am, educational qualification is MA PhD, and PhD subject is evaluating the impact of some regional and global meteorological parameters on rainfall of central peninsular India. And ma'am, scientific field of interest is climatology. Ma'am have published three research paper in various journals, and ma'am is member of research institute like Institute of Indian Geographer, Pune, IIG. Second, Deccan Geographical Society, and third one, Indian Meteorological Society. Ma'am have received Young Geographer Award at DGS National Geographic Conference, December 2009, Ahmednagar. And may I request to you can start your lecture. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. So I'll just start. First of all, let me apologize that earlier we had a pre-planned lecture, but because of the internet connection, we could not continue with the lecture. So let us continue with where we had stopped. I'm presenting my screen. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, in the last lecture, we had seen descriptive statistics, where we were trying to see the measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, and how each one has its role in analyzing the data. Today, we will be continuing with what we had stopped that day. For us, the data alone is not interesting. Geographers are not there to generate data. We are not computer scientists. We do not only generate data. It is the interpretation of the data that we are really interested in. Now, when you find a mean, you just find the data and you have one value. But more important is that value has to be interpreted. So for us, the interpretation of the data is much useful. In statistics, when we wish to start asking questions like whether my data is reliable, do I consider this data as representing the population, and such other questions which require a confidence or likelihood about the answers. How likely is my answer? How likely it is going to rain? How likely it is that coronavirus will go in the next century? In the next year. So when we try to answer such questions, we try. Hello, there is somebody whose mic is on,
Hello,
I
madam.
suppose.
You are not audible.
I'm not at all audible. I have.
Hello. येतोय मॅडम आवाज येतोय ना.
I have full this thing. Uh,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
आवाज येतोय मॅडम तुमचा कंटिन्यू करा बाकीच्यांनी माईक ऑफ करा एक लिस्ट
नाही आवाज येतोय
येतो मॅम व्यवस्थित
Yes, madam. Yes.
should I continue then?
येस येस मॅम
Yes. Yes.
Let me check. I will just. See, I'm removing the plug, but the removing the plug is going to make me more less audible.
No, madam. No audible.
Ma'am, you are off your mic. So that's why it is not audible. Yes.
I'll try to speak a little louder. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I'll go slowly. I'll try to speak slowly. So when you ask about the likelihood of any question, you try to provide a confidence limit. I suppose that I am 95% confident that my results are correct. I am 99% confident that my results are correct. So when you talk in terms of confidence level, or when you talk about the probability that your answers are correct, you actually are going for inferential statistics that we call as statistical hypothesis testing. We make a statement and then we test whether that statement is true or not. So, what is a hypothesis test? It is we calculate some quantity under a given assumption. I just assume something. Definitely, assumption is not made in air. You have already studied something and you assume something. So then what you do, you test it, and the result of the test will allow you to interpret whether your assumption is holding true or whether your assumption has been violated. So this forms your research question. In your PhD, you all have assumed something. I had looked to that day. I had looked through your topics. I have forgotten right now, but the way sir has given me some topics. More of you, I was seeing the topics that all of you were trying to prove something. Just give me 1 second. I'll just read out the topics. Some of the topics. Just give me a few minutes. Mm. Yeah. See, impact of artificial agro ponds on agricultural development. This is one of the topics. So, impact of artificial. So, definitely you have assumed, the person has assumed that these artificial agro ponds are going to change the development of agriculture in a particular district. You have assumed. This is your assumption. Definitely your assumption is going to be on some previous your study, and now you want to test it. Test in both the ways, whether it has a negative impact or a positive impact, or there is no impact at all. So what we are trying to see, that whatever we have assumed, that whether it is holding true or whether my assumption has been violated. Another example I will just tell, that trends and patterns of human development in Assam district. So this human development, whether there is definitely a trend seen in human development today, that is my assumption, or there is no change. That are there some variables in the current time that has led to the development of, that has led to such patterns. Agar pattern bola, a geographer, when he says pattern or trend, there has to be some variables which are affecting it. So are there some variables which are affecting the trends and patterns? If yes, what are the variables? Otherwise, you can come to an answer that there is no trend. A researcher don't like such type of outcomes that we say, but that is also an answer. So don't worry if you don't get any trend, but it is, as I told you, it is based on your earlier small study, that you see some pattern and you want to validate whether it is true or not. That means we are dealing with two types of hypothesis. The one is the null hypothesis and the other one is the alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis, which is known as H naught, It is the default assumption, default hypothesis that nothing has changed. It gives you the probability of homogeneity, that whatever I am doing, that means there is no effect of variables, nothing. That is why H naught, null, not, never, such words come into this hypothesis. Not necessary that they will come, but please remember that this is denoting homogeneity, uniformity, that there has been no effect. Now I don't remember. I have given you the example in the last lecture, that suppose that after taking Hemlata madam's class, there was no effect on the students, what you can say, statistical methods. There was no improvement. So this is null hypothesis. But how many of you students, they say that because there is a no in the sentence, it is a null hypothesis. No, that is not correct. It shows that, suppose I put the sentence like this, that the students ability to comprehend statistical methods remains the same irrespective of the teacher. ओके मतलब कि टीचर कोई भी रहे, उनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. सो हियर इन द एंटायर सेंटेन्स आई हैव नॉट यूज्ड नो, नाही नकारात्मक काहीही यूज केलेलं नाहीये, तरी सुद्धा हा नल हायपोथेसिस झाला. So again I am repeating, how to identify a null hypothesis is not by the words no, not, never. हे आपल्याला पाहिजे ते वर्ड्स असले तर चांगलंच आहे. इफ द वर्ड्स नो, नॉट, नेवर आर देअर इन द नल हायपोथेसिस, दॅट इज गुड, बट इट इज नॉट कंपल्सरी that these words should be there in the null hypothesis. What should your null hypothesis show? Your null hypothesis should show that nothing has changed, everything remains same. Okay, can I have one or two students answering that whether have you understood what I am trying to speak? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So let us move to one more topic. I just want to, should I read? One second. Coastal impact assessment of bridges constructed in the areas of different tidal ranges. Okay, so this is one of the topic, PhD topic. I am deliberately taking these topics so that you should know that what you have to do in your, so coastal impact assessment of bridges constructed in the areas of different tidal ranges. So there are many hypotheses here. First, whether I am constructing a bridges or not, is that going to impact coast or not? Okay, so there is no impact of the construction of bridges on the coast, that will be by null hypothesis. Okay, I can also go for one more null hypothesis, that the student has said different tidal ranges. So there is no change in the impact of bridges in different zones of tidal ranges. I think the student tries to tell you that कि जैसे जैसे टाइड का रेंज बदलता है उसका इम्पैक्ट अलग अलग हो जाता है. Something, I don't know what the student is trying to say, but see, only from one sentence there are so many things that you can analyze. This is what I wanted to try to tell you, that from your own topic title you try to analyze that what is that you want to understand. It is what is that you want to solve. Okay, so this is all about null hypothesis. Let me clear the screen. And as I told you, we are not very interested if a null hypothesis becomes true. We are more interested in our alternative hypothesis, where we should say, yes, there is an impact of the construction of bridges on the coastal. Yes, there is a difference in the impact in different tidal ranges. जैसे जैसे टाइड का रेंज बदलता है उसका इम्पैक्ट भी बदलता है. So something like this we are more interested, and that becomes a researcher's output. Okay, but nonetheless I can tell you that from my own experience, don't be very disheartened if you don't get that there is nothing changed. That is also a result. You can always put that in your thesis, nothing has changed. So that is also one of the results. Okay, let us move forward. So we have two type of hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. We only test the null hypothesis. हम लोग सिर्फ null hypothesis test कर सकते हैं कि change हुआ है या नहीं हुआ है. अगर null hypothesis reject होता है, then we favor the alternative hypothesis. Okay. The null hypothesis states that there is no relationship between the two variables being considered. It can be two variables, it can be four variables, it can be n number of variables. That means there is no interaction. It states that, please, if you can take a screenshot, because this is very important. The null hypothesis states that the results are due to chance. Now you have collected a sample, right? You cannot, in the last lecture I told you that it is very difficult to analyze population. So population analyze nahi kar sakte, to kya karna hai? We collect sample. Now from the sample you are going to inference, you are going to make conclusions about the population. But when you make such inferences, you want to know that whether my results are due to chance or really there is a difference. So the same thing, the null hypothesis is going to tell you that the results are due to chance and they are not significant. So this word is very important, that my results, whether they are significant or they are not significant. Okay, so the null hypothesis assumes that whatever you are trying to prove did not happen. So a researcher would never like a null hypothesis to become true, because if your null hypothesis is tested true, that means that there is no change whatsoever in that particular area. Now, how to test it? There are two common forms. Those who use some softwares, you will see that mostly p-value are there. Those who have taught this course in the colleges and PG levels, they know that we use statistical tables where we have the critical values. Both of them, they can be used. So there is nothing to be worried. You can use the p-value, you can use the critical values. Let us see how to use this p-value and critical value and how to interpret them. Till here, is everything have everybody understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The p-value approach, it involves determining the likely or unlikely conditions. P means probability. What is the probability that likely the rainfall will form? So what is that probability? कि कितना probability कि आज दोपहर को बारिश आएगा? So likely conditions, हम लोग 100% कभी नहीं रह सकते हैं. So what is the probability? So when we use this probability approach, that is the p-value approach. What are the steps? So those who are going to go for inferential stats, they are going to follow these steps. You first have to specify the null and alternative hypothesis. You cannot start your thesis unless and until you have specified your research hypothesis. You have to specify your research hypothesis, that I assume that there is going to be a change in the coastal area because of the construction of bridges. I'm going to assume that there is going to be the agro ponds are going to impact the agricultural development. So you have to specify your null and alternative hypothesis. Now, as I told you, you cannot examine the entire population. So what you will going to do? You are going to use a sample data. You're going to collect a sample. Now, when you collect the sample, you assume that your null hypothesis is true, and then you calculate the test statistic. Which test to use, that I'll come later in the slides. But you are going to calculate some test statistic. You can calculate t value, you can calculate f value. There or it is chi-square value. If there are various numbers of test statistics that you can calculate. Once you calculate the test statistics, then you compare. There is already a table of probability value. Now, what is the probability that you want to? Now that you have to decide that what alpha, that is how much error I can make. For example, you set the significance level, that is your alpha. Alpha means what? The probability of making type 1 error. In the last lecture, I told you type 1 and type 2 error. Type 1 means even if the null hypothesis is true, you reject it. So हमने यहाँ पे assume किया है कि ये true है, but फिर भी आप reject करते हो. So what is the risk? Whether it is 0.01, whether it is 0.05, or whether it is 0.1. 0.01 मतलब there is 1% risk. 1% risk कि मैंने जो भी इन्फरेंस निकाला है, मैंने जो भी कंक्लूजन निकाला है, वो शायद गलत हो सकता है. Have you understood this much? So that is the significance level. Okay, more detailed. Okay, this red color I'll come later. So this is the explanation. So for example, if I take a 0.05 alpha, normally we take significance level as 0.05. In geography, that is acceptable. It indicates a 5% risk of concluding that we are rejecting null hypothesis. Null hypothesis में क्या था कि कोई difference नहीं है, but हम वो reject कर रहे हैं, मतलब there is a 5% risk of concluding that there is a difference when there is actually no difference in the population. Okay, जितना आप risk कम करोगे, उतना आपका interpretation और इतना आपका analysis अच्छी तरह होगा. So as instead of 5%, if you go for 1%, that is 0. This is not 0.1, it should be 0.01%. If you go for 0.01 significance level, then as you go more and more detailed, that is that person in physics, I don't remember, but there is some value as 0.00, some many zeros and 13. That value is called as what is that value? I forgot. But they test their results to such a low level of risk. Even in medical science, for example, they have to test the vaccine. They cannot take a 5% risk. You know that 5% of 130 million is going to be so many people. You cannot put so many people at risk. So depending upon your discipline, depending upon your subject, you have to decide. Mostly for physical geography, we set a still lower probability, that is 1% or 5%. Normally, we don't go above 5%. Even for human geography, 5% or at the most 10%, in very, very rare cases it's taken. Okay, is this clear this much? Have you understood this much, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this was what I was talking of, how to interpret. So this mostly the students just learn this by rote, that if the p-value is less, we reject the null hypothesis. If the p-value is greater, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Now, why don't I write we accept null, we fail to reject? I'll tell you what it is. But first, let us understand, if p-value is less than alpha, you reject, and if p-value is greater than alpha, you fail to reject. What is this? Don't learn it. Let us see this map. 0.05. Suppose it is a two-tailed test. I'll come to what is two-tailed test. 0 means the probability is distributed on both the sides. This you can see 0.025 and 0.025. So total किया तो it will be 0.5. So the total probability covered under this graph is a Gaussian curve. So exactly under this is the mean value, and 0.5% मतलब 50% will lie on above the mean and 0.5 will lie below the mean. फिर जैसे आप वो ग्राफ का नीचे जाते हो, see only this much area is there now, so your area decreases. Now what we have to do, we have to go for, mostly it is said that ये आपका एवरेज यहाँ पे है मीन कंडीशंस, तो मीन के आजू बाजू जितना भी एरिया रहेगा मीन्स योर सैंपल, सी व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, योर सैंपल इज एग्जिबिटिंग मीन कंडीशंस. आपका जो सैंपल है वो नॉर्मल है क्योंकि वो नॉर्मल में आया है, इट इज विद इन द नॉर्मल लिमिट्स. आपका सैंपल कुछ अलग नहीं दिखा रहा है, इट इज शोइंग व्हाट इज अज्यूम्ड दैट द पॉपुलेशन मीन म्यू इज इन द सेंटर, एंड आपका जो वैल्यू है दैट इज इन एंड अराउंड द पॉपुलेशन मीन. दैट मीन्स यू आर वेरी क्लोज टू व्हाट इज द नल हाइपोथेसिस. बट when you specify these values 0.025 and 0, and if you get still lower, now I'll erase this. If it is, go see this, here it is getting, so this point is 0.025, this is still lesser, maybe it is 0.020. okay, that means it is beyond the normal limits. मतलब कि चांस की वजह से मेरा सैंपल अलग नहीं आया है, वो सच में अलग है. Are you understanding? It is not just because of a chance कि मैंने गलत सैंपल उठा लिया. It is really there is. Am I connected? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
There was some sound, so I thought that I have disconnected. What I was saying? ये चांस नहीं है, मतलब गलती से मैंने सैंपल नहीं उठाया है. मेरे सैंपल में सच में मेरा सैंपल बहुत दूर है नॉर्मल कंडीशन से. Okay, I have tried to speak in very simple language. So rather than learning this line that it is less than alpha फिर रिजेक्ट करो, ये ज्यादा समझना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वो मीन कंडीशन के यहाँ पे आ रहा है क्या. नहीं, इट इज नॉट कमिंग इन मीन कंडीशन, इट इज वेरी फार अवे फ्रॉम द नॉर्मल कंडीशन. आपका डेटा यहाँ पे नहीं है, दिस सेंट्रल वैल्यू अगर यहाँ पे आता है तो नो, देर इज नो डिफरेंस. बट आपका दिखाई दे रहा है ना कि देर इज अ डिफरेंस, मतलब वो बहुत दूर है फ्रॉम द मीन कंडीशन. जितना वो दूर रहेगा उतना आपका आंसर, उतना आपका इंटरप्रिटेशन रोबूस्ट रहेगा. ओके, हैव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस मच?
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Yes.
one question, ma'am.
Yeah,
Most of the researches, they are using regression lines. So when you see this, there are some outliers. So these outliers are also considered to be one of the very important samples many times.
Yes.
So according to you, should we give a significance to these outliers?
No, significance when you see, I'll just draw. So suppose your regression line is like this. Regression is a completely different. It comes in descriptive statistics. It doesn't come in inferential.
Okay, so let it be, ma'am, then.
No, I'll just explain it for the time being. Regression means what? See, these are the dots. And regression line means what? From the, it is the best fit line. क्यों हम रिग्रेस करते हैं? इट शोज द मीन कंडीशन. इनफैक्ट रिग्रेशन एकदम उल्टा है, हमको मीन कंडीशन क्या होती है, एंड देन इट इज मोस्टली यूज्ड फॉर प्रेडिक्टिंग कि अगर वो लाइन को आगे प्रेडिक्ट किया and then you can predict that what will be the value here. And now if you have these outliers, जब आपके पास ये outliers रहते हैं तो ये जो mean condition है, that mean condition is affected. That is why they are important. And then you check that why these are outliers. If most of them are along the regression, then either these outliers are because of an error that you sampled a wrong thing, or these outliers have another factors which are affecting, which are not this variable and this variable. That is why the outliers are so significant.
Okay, so we should mention it also. So these outliers should be mentioned.
In fact, whenever, I don't know about others, but whenever
I take a dissertation, I take a PhD viva. When I see the outliers, my first question is, did you see why that was an outlier? Always I ask, always, because that is more interesting. See, हमको normal से normal, we are not interesting what is normal. ये जो है normal तो फिर कोई भी predict कर सकता है ना. We are not interested in this. We are interested which is far away from normal, and then we try to emphasize that why it is behaving abnormally. Okay. So researchers will always why there is an abnormal rise in temperature. Okay. So like this, that why this abnormality, why it is not following. So then the research begins. If everything is normal, people will not do research. There has to be some difference. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. I did it differently. Instead of giving importance to these outliers, I have simply deleted these samples, considering them as an error. So
no, it can be an error. It can be an error. So you have to first check that whether it is an error or not. If it is not error, if you have sampled it correctly, then please keep it in your and then you need to find out वो outlier का effect क्या होता है. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा outlier हुआ, suppose there are many outliers and आपका regression line यहाँ से जा रहा है. Now this, because of so many outliers, your regression line का जो R square आएगा, I'll come to this R square, वो बहुत नहीं आएगा. I'll come to this. This is explained variance.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, we'll come to all these things. But I'm happy that people, it is not a monotonous talk. People are asking. Please ask. I like people asking. So, here I was telling you another word that we fail to reject. हमें कभी भी ऐसे नहीं बोलना है. हम accept करते हैं alternative hypothesis. Never ever say that I accept the alternative hypothesis. No, we say that हमारे पास सबूत नहीं है, इसी ज्यादा सबूत नहीं है, इसलिए we fail to reject. Why we cannot say we accept the alternative? Because alternative तो आपने टेस्ट किया ही नहीं है. You test only the null hypothesis. See here. Where is it? It is often called, what's the null hypothesis? Somewhere I had written that we test, assuming the null hypothesis is true. We assume only this. हमें पता नहीं कि alternative क्या है. We assume only the null and we prove only null hypothesis. We only test the null hypothesis. So whether you accept the null hypothesis or whether you fail to accept the null hypothesis is the answer. Okay. So your answer should be written in this format. This is the correct scientific format to be written. You reject the null hypothesis, and because you are rejecting the null hypothesis, you are in favor of the alternative hypothesis. So मैंने टेस्ट किसके ऊपर किया है? मैंने एमए स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर टेस्ट किया है, बट क्योंकि एमए स्टूडेंट्स में वो दिखाई नहीं, इसलिए मैंने बीए को चूज किया. बट सी नाउ, बट बीए को क्यों चूज किया? आई कैन चूज बीएससी, आई कैन चूज बीकॉम. There are so many alternatives. You cannot say. I hope I am making it clear. See, I'll give you a geography ka example. I am saying that there are changes in climate because there is change in rainfall. Okay. But here, there was no change in rainfall, but still there is climate change. Okay. So, I am rejecting कि rainfall की वजह से climate change हुआ. मैं रिजेक्ट कर रही हूं, इसीलिए मैं दूसरा एक्सेप्ट कर रही हूं. इट इज नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ रेनफॉल, इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ टेम्परेचर दैट द क्लाइमेट इज चेंजिंग. बट इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल कि सिर्फ टेम्परेचर हो सकता है, वो विंड भी हो सकता है, वो सन का इंसोलेशन भी हो सकता है. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सो व्हेन आई से आई एम जस्ट whatever is my null hypothesis, I am just dealing with two variables. So whatever is, if my two variable relationship is not accepted, it is rejected, then whatever is my alternative hypothesis, that is favored. That does not mean that I accept it. So I have not written here the word I accept the alternative hypothesis. I have written we fail to reject the null hypothesis, or we fail to accept. Okay. Now I was talking about this 1% and 5%. So if you can see 5% area, but अगर ये same एनालिसिस हम 1% रिस्क पे करें, यू कैन सी हियर 1% मतलब और छोटा रीजन, बिकॉज इट इज टू टेल्ड 1% विल बी 1% मतलब 0.01, उसका डिवाइड बाय 2 हो जाएगा, दैट इज इक्वल टू, सो दोनों बाजू तो एरिया और भी छोटा हो जाएगा. प्लीज रिमेंबर, जितना ये छोटा हो जाएगा द एरिया बिकम स्मॉलर एंड स्मॉलर. नाउ whatever I had got the p value somewhere here, the probability was more than 0.005. Maybe it can be anything, maybe it was 0.20. okay, so here ये तो नॉर्मल में आ गया, बिकॉज for me now the normal is this much. In the earlier case the normal was this much, so I have to decide what is my cutoff, whether I am taking a 5% risk or whether I am taking a 1% risk. Is this much clear? Should I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, as I told you, the one-tailed and two-tailed test. I'm going to tell you the difference between one-tailed and two-tailed test. One-tailed test means एक ही side में आपका answer आ सकता है, एक ही side पे. So this is an example of one-tailed. For example, let us take a simple example. I have made a new vaccine which is going to be positively effective on coronavirus. Okay, that is going to get rid of coronavirus. So मैं उसको एक ही साइड पे चेक करूंगी. Why should I check it the otherwise? Okay, I'll give you another example that I have made some a new machine. अब वो न्यू मशीन से मेरा क्लॉथ का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और ज्यादा बेहतर होगा. So what I am going to check that before the machine and after the machine has come, whether there is a significantly positive difference. मैं नेगेटिव क्यों चेक करूं कि मेरा मशीन पहले वाले से ज्यादा बेहतर है. Why should I go for the negative one? I am interested on only one side. So then it is one-tailed test. And two-tailed, जब मुझे ये देखना है कि for example the introduction of online examination, is it having positive effect or is it having negative effect? इसमें मुझे दोनों बाजू देखनी है कि let us take your examples that whether the agro ponds are having a positive effect or whether they are having a negative effect. तो दोनों बाजू देखना पड़ेगा. So then I have to go for two-tailed test. Have you understood this much? So it depends on what is the research question, whether you will go for one-tailed test or two-tailed test. Is there any doubt? Should I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
many times people get confused between significance level and confidence level. Significance level को हम बोलते हैं alpha. Alpha मतलब risk of making type 1 error. Type 1 error मतलब क्या? You reject the null hypothesis even when it is true. Okay, आप उसको reject कर देते हो. So वो risk कम से कम होना चाहिए. It can be 0.05 or it can be 0.01. So that is your significance level. कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल अगर निकालना है तो आपको 1 माइनस सिग्निफिकेंस लेवल करना है. सो 1 माइनस 0.05 दैट कम्स टू 0.95. दैट मीन्स आई एम 95% कॉन्फिडेंट दैट माई रिजल्ट्स आर करेक्ट. 5% देयर इज रिस्क. सो प्लीज डोंट कंफ्यूज. बहुत सारे थीसिस में आज तक मैंने जितने भी देखे हैं कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल 0.05 दिखाते हैं एंड सिग्निफिकेंस लेवल 0.95 दिखाते हैं, विच इज वेरी वेरी रॉन्ग. Please don't do that mistake. Okay, so either you say that this is your result, that the test found that the data sample were normal and so we failed to reject the null hypothesis at a 5% significance level. अगर significance level करना है तो, अगर आपको confidence में बोलना है, the test found that the data was normal, इसीलिए we failed to reject the null hypothesis with a 95% confidence level. मतलब 5% हो सकता है चांस. समझ में आ गया इतना? Should I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Now As I told you that there are two approaches. One is the p-value and one is the critical value. Critical value mostly the softwares don't do. If somebody is what you can say, somebody is using log tables, या आपके इंटरनेट पे भी आ जाता है, देन दे गो फॉर क्रिटिकल वैल्यूज. मोस्टली द नॉन पैरामीट्रिक और जो जिसमें मीन वैरायंस यूज नहीं, पूरा का पूरा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन यूज करते, दे गो फॉर क्रिटिकल वैल्यूज. द रिजल्ट्स आर इंटरप्रेटेड इन अ सिमिलर मैनर, बट सिर्फ यहाँ पे वो उल्टा रहता है. बिकॉज क्रिटिकल वैल्यू मतलब क्या, सी हियर. So here you decide your critical value. So maybe your critical value is 3.8 and here it is 2.4. So these are your critical value. अगर आपका test statistic whatever you have calculated comes here, मतलब वो नॉर्मल में आया. So your test statistics, you fail to reject the null hypothesis because it is coming within the critical value. But if it is beyond the critical value, you reject the null hypothesis and you in favor of the alternative. अगर 3.9 आया या 4.5 आया या 5, मतलब वो critical value से दूर है. So like this, when you use critical value, if the value whatever you have calculated, it is beyond the critical limit, then you reject the null hypothesis. It is that simple. Now these are various examples of hypothesis test. Out of these, some of them which we use are when you this is what I was telling. When you see relationship, it is Pearson's. If it is ranked correlation, you see Spearman's. You also have chi-square test. If it is a categorical variable, categorical मतलब data categories में बदलता है. Many times you use student t-test, paired student, ANOVA, and all these tests you must have heard. Now let us quickly, because the time is running out, मैंने एक एक example लिया है, and as I told you before, I'll be showing in Excel that how to calculate them. Okay, chi-square test. As I told you, the chi-square test we perform on two categorical variables. मतलब category रहता है. Variables are categorized. Okay, so we compare two categorical variables and we say that whether they belong to a single population or not. This is the formula. Don't worry, you can take this formula for any from any internet source. What is the null hypothesis? That उन दोनों का आपस में कोई संबंध नहीं है. बट नहीं है ये शब्द मैंने यहाँ पे यूज नहीं किया है. What I have used instead, variable A and variable B are independent. इंडिपेंडेंट का मतलब यही होता है कि उन दोनों का एक दूसरे पे इफेक्ट नहीं है. So it means that there is no change. See, the word no has not come, but it implies that कि कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा है, वेरिएबल ए हो या वेरिएबल बी हो. दैट मीन्स इट इज अ नल हाइपोथेसिस. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर आपने नल हाइपोथेसिस को ऑल्टरनेटिव मान लिया और ऑल्टरनेटिव को नल मान लिया, वट एवर रिजल्ट आर गोइंग टू कम, इट इज गोइंग टू कम वाइस वर्सा. ओके, प्लीज मेक श्योर. और यहाँ पे नॉट यहाँ पे आया है, बट इसी चीज को वेरिएबल ए एंड वेरिएबल बी आर नॉट इंडिपेंडेंट. नॉट इंडिपेंडेंट मीन्स दे आर डिपेंडेंट. So variable A and variable B are dependent on each other. So this is what I want to show, my research hypothesis, की याचा याच्याबरोबर संबंध आहे, एक दुसऱ्यांवरती ते अवलंबून आहेत. आणि मग ह्याला और variable A and variable B are not related. त्यांचा काहीही संबंध नाहीये. हा माझा null hypothesis. But if you take this sentence and you call this sentence and you call the sentence as alternate, सगळं काय बिघडलं. So first of all you have to understand null hypothesis चा अर्थ काय होतो, त्याच्यामधनं हा अर्थ प्रतीत व्हायला पाहिजे की त्या दोघांमध्ये काहीही संबंध नाही किंवा त्याचा काहीही असर झाला नाहीये किंवा जी परिस्थिती होती त्याच्यामध्ये काहीही बदल झाला नाहीये असं जेव्हा त्या सेंटेन्स मधनं प्रतीत होतं ते म्हणजे नल हायपोथेसिस. Have I made it very clear? Should I speak in English? I have tried hard to speak in Marathi. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
may I ask one question?
Yes, sure.
What is the maximum sample size while testing the chi-square test?
This question was raised in the last session. Some student has raised, and I had told that there is no maximum or minimum. It depends on your research question. It depends on your area. For example, suppose that is all sampling technique. For example, you have this area, and in this area, I'll give you different. This is entirely different topic, but because it's a question I'm answering. And this area normally we take 10%. Okay, normally we take 10% of the area, but sometimes 10% of India, if I ask you to see 10% of India, it becomes very difficult. So then what we do, we go for more. So maybe I choose some of the sample sites and uska 10% le liya. Sometimes what I do, so as I told you, I see the sample, I do a literature review beforehand and see that most of the settlements are here. And here they are very less. So what I do, I take 10% here, I take 10% here. So it depends that what is your research area, what is your research question. Depending on that, you have to decide. हम लोग सैम्पलिंग क्यों करते हैं कि ताकि सब कुछ रिप्रेजेंट हो. सपोज देर इज एन एरिया where there is a mountain here, there is farms here, there is forest here. I should make sure that all my samples are covering at least one or two of all of them. तभी तो मेरा सैंपल उसको देन ओनली इट विल रिप्रेजेंट माय पॉपुलेशन. अगर मैंने सैम्पलिंग इस तरह से के लिया कि भले मैंने 100 सैंपल लिया हो बट द सैंपल आर जस्ट इंक्लूडिंग दिस एरिया, इट इज नॉट वर्दी. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस मच?
येस मॅम. क्वेश्चन असा आहे मॅडम,
हा,
समजा आता टेबल व्हॅल्यू जो पाहिजे आपण त्याच्यामध्ये 50 पर्यंतच हे राहते म्हणजे काय स्क्वेअरचं त्याच्यामध्ये.
हो, पण तुम्ही त्याच्या पुढे जाऊ शकता. त्याचं ते 50 ते हो, त्याच्या पुढे त्यांनी जी व्हॅल्यू 50 ला दिलेली असते ना त्याच्यापेक्षा जी कमी व्हॅल्यू आहे ना ती त्याच्यानंतर हे बघा प्रोबॅबिलिटी मध्ये काय होतं. 1 सेकंड. प्रोबॅबिलिटी मध्ये हा तुमचा नॉर्मल कर्व आहे. हा, मग ही जी जागा आहे ती 0.5 आहे. टेबल व्हॅल्यू ही जर तुम्ही बघितली ती कमी कमी होत जाते. 0.5 मग अजून कमी केली इथे ही सपोज 0.05 अजून कमी केली तर ही 0.0005 अजून कमी केली तर 0.00005. आता तुमचा जो तुम्ही सॅम्पल नंबर म्हणताय तो 20 इथं असेल, 30 नंबरला ही व्हॅल्यू असेल, 40 ला ही असेल, 50 ला ही असेल. आता 50 लाच ती खूप कमी आहे. ओके, आता 50च्या ऐवजी तुम्ही 150 म्हणा, याच्यामध्ये जास्त काही फरक पडणार नाहीये. यू आर गेटिंग माय पॉइंट. सो व्हॉट यू कॅन डू, यू कॅन गो विथ वॉट एव्हर इज देअर फॉर 50. दे हॅव ऑलरेडी. जर 50 ला ती एवढी कमी येणं शक्यच नाहीये ते. सो 50 ला जर, सो दॅट डझंट मीन की तुम्हाला 50च घ्यायचंय. इट इज नॉट रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू द टेबल व्हॅल्यू. टेबल व्हॅल्यू मध्ये ते प्रोबॅबिलिटी इतकी खाली गेली की अजून 0 वाढवून काहीच उपयोग नाहीये. आणि जर तुम्हाला खरंच पाहिजे तर त्या व्हॅल्यूला नाव कम्प्युटर्स आर देअर, दे विल जनरेट अ पी व्हॅल्यू where you will get exact p value for even 150 or 1000 samples. So you don't worry. Okay?
Okay, madam.
This is one of the examples. आपल्याला मी म्हटलं ना की काय स्क्वेअर कसं समजायचं की बाबा काय स्क्वेअर करायचंय. आता हे बघा, ही हाईट ग्रुप आहेत. 100 ते 200 मीटर, 200 ते 300 त्यांचा एरिया दिलेला आहे. आणि त्या एरिया प्रमाणे मी पॅस्चर प्लॉट्स म्हणजे कुरणच ना की ते किती आहेत, कुरणाची जी जागा आहे ती प्लॉट्स किती आहेत. तर इथं the distribution of area under various height groups. So this is a categorical variable. मी कॅटेगरी प्रमाणे मी माझा अनालिसिस करणार आहे. सो आय हॅव टू गो टू chi-square. मग पूर्ण डिस्ट्रीब्युशन करावं लागेल. सो नाव what I'm going to do is that हाईट प्रमाणे माझे पॅस्चर प्लॉट्सची जी एरिया आहे ती इंटर रिलेटेड आहे का? परत सांगते, वेदर द नंबर ऑफ पॅस्चर प्लॉट्स व्हेरी अकॉर्डिंग टू व्हेरियस हाईट ग्रुप्स ऑर नॉट. वेगवेगळ्या हाईट ग्रुप प्रमाणे वेगवेगळे प्लॉट सापडतात का, आढळतात का? So what I am going to do, hide the most important, I am going to go according to some category, predefined category. ओके, त्या कॅटेगरी मध्ये माझ्याकडे 2 व्हेरिएबल आहेत. आता ते दोन्ही व्हेरिएबल त्या कॅटेगरी प्रमाणे बदलतात का असं आहे की काही नाही, कोणत्याही हाईटला कितीही पॅस्चर प्लॉट्स मिळू शकतात. So there can be only 2 answers. One, there is no difference, there is no influence of height groups on the total area of pasture plots. किंवा yes, according to height groups the pasture plots do vary. मग ते कसं व्हेरी होतं, मग ते तुम्ही पुढे करू शकता. तुमची आन्सर प्लस आलंय का मायनस आलंय. सो हिअर यू यूज chi-square टेस्ट. नाव आय एम जस्ट ब्रीफिंग t-test, that is another test. t-test मोस्टली वी यूज t-test कारण का आपण मीन ते कम्पेअर करतो त्याचा. मोस्टली वी यूज कारण का कॅटेगोरिकल व्हेरिएबल्स खूप कमी असतात आपल्याकडे. सो मोस्टली वी गो फॉर t-test. वी डू t-test इफ यू वॉन्ट टू कम्पेअर द मीन ऑफ 2 ग्रुप्स. 2 ग्रुपचे जर मला मीन काढायचे असते, there are very different versions. t-test तर सगळ्यात मोठी आहे. पहिलं one sample t-test, you can take a screenshot later, सगळं झाल्यावरती, which tells us whether means of sample and population are different. So this is one sample. So I have a population mean, हे माझं पूर्ण पॉप्युलेशन आहे, दॅट इज म्यू. त्याच्यामधला मी एक सॅम्पल घेतला, त्या सॅम्पलचं काहीतरी मीन येणार, तर माझं सॅम्पल आणि पॉप्युलेशन मीन एकसारखे आहेत. त्याच्यावरनं मी अंदाज लावणार की द सॅम्पल इज फ्रॉम द पॉप्युलेशन. 2 sample t-test. 2 sample means from the same population I have taken 2 samples. This is sample A and sample B, and then I'll compare them. That is 2 sample t-test. And the third one is paired t-test. Paired t-test means what? I have population, I have A. This is according to time. That this was before some event, before the course was taken, and after the course was taken, what is the condition of the same sample? So here there are two samples. It is not comparison of sample with population. Even though there are 2 samples, the same sample is going to be tested with the earlier version of it. So that is paired t-test. Okay. So now you can take a screenshot. So t-test आपण 3 वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारे करू शकतो. वन सॅम्पल म्हणजे आता तुम्ही तुमचं ठरवायचं आहे की तुमचं जे सॅम्पल घेतलंय ते पॉप्युलेशनशी कम्पेअर करायचंय. जर तुम्हाला पॉप्युलेशन माहित असेल तर. नसेल माहिती, you have different samples. If you have compared 2 samples, you can identify whether they are associated. If not, you are thinking of, as I said, construction of bridges. त्याच्या अगोदरची somebody is working on tourism. हे झाल्या याच्या अगोदर ते विलेज कसं होतं आणि हे झाल्यानंतर कसं आहे. So that is paired t-test. So this is all about t-test. A good example I have given here. Here I have shown you some farms. And फार्म काही किती आहेत, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 वेगवेगळे फार्म्स घेतलेत. त्या 9 फार्म्स मध्ये बिफोर अप्लाइंग फर्टिलायझर, एखादे खाद अप्लाय करायच्या अगोदर त्यांना किती यील्ड येत होतं, किती प्रोडक्शन होत होतं. आता दुसऱ्या वर्षी जेव्हा त्यांनी फर्टिलायझर्स यूज केले तर किती येत आहे. सो नाव दे आर गोइंग टू फाइंड की फर्टिलायझर यूज केल्यानंतर खरंच उत्पादन वाढलंय का कमी झालंय. Whether it has significantly decreased or increased. Now I am not saying here only increase. So here I'll go for 2 tail. कारण का मला इन्क्रीज झालंय का डिक्रीज झालंय हे दोन्ही बघायचंय. इफ द क्वेश्चन वॉज, मला फक्त एवढंच बघायचं वेदर इट इज इन्क्रीज्ड, सो ऍट दॅट टाइम माय कॉन्फिडन्स लेवल हा एरिया मोठा होऊन जातो कारण का मला फक्त एकच साइड बघायची आहे. ओके. सो दिस इज हाव. इथं कसं की तुम्हाला हे उत्तर आलं तरी तुमचा नल हायपोथेसिस रिजेक्ट होणार आहे. बट हिअर you are only seeing only one side. Okay. So as I told you, depending on the question, you have to see whether you will be using 1 tail or 2 tail. आता टी टेस्ट हे 2च सॅम्पल मध्ये, पण माझ्याकडे 3 सॅम्पल आहेत, तर माझ्याकडे 3 वेगवेगळे, जसं आय हॅड टोल्ड यू that I have students from geography, I have students from geology and I have students from environmental science. मग त्या तिघांच्या मार्कांमध्ये फरक आहे का? So T test can be only done for 2. मग if I want to go for 3 or more samples, the method is same. I go for ANOVA, that is analysis of variance. नल हायपोथेसिस, सियर, परत इथं नॉट हा शब्द यूज केलेला नाहीये, पण त्यात जर सेंटेन्स वाचला तर त्याच्यातनं प्रतीत होतंय की सगळं काही सेम आहे. ऑल पेअर्स ऑफ सॅम्पल्स आर सेम, आणि बिकॉज देर आर 3 or more, एटलीस्ट एक जरी वेगळा असेल तर आपण ऑल्टरनेटिव्ह एक्सेप्ट करणार आहोत. ओके, सो दिस इज अबाउट द मेन टेस्ट, द अनोवा टेस्ट, द एफ टेस्ट. अनोवाचं एक्झाम्पल दाखवते. So this is a good example. I got it from the earlier this thing. So this is from geomorphology. हे एखाद्या जॉग्राफरनी केलेलं आहे. So what the geographer has done, he has measured the streams, ज्या नद्या दिसतात टोपोशीट्स वरती, त्या मेजर केल्या आहेत. आता त्यांनी सेम नदी एक 1:25,000 टोपोशीट वरती बघितली आहे, सेम 1:50 and same. So what he is trying to understand that if I use different topographical maps, माझा significant difference येतो का लेंथ मध्ये, because it is very important for him to understand. If there is significant difference, then he need to use them separately. So that is the question. So you can see the question. The lengths of a dozen, म्हणजे 12 असतील हे, were measured by a researcher using maps on different scales. So at 5% risk, that is 0.05 level of significance, you see that whether there is a significant difference in the length of streams if they are estimated from maps on different scales. So because it is more than 2, it is ANOVA test. So like this you have to understand. This is not chi-square. आता chi-square का नाहीये? कारण का इथं कोणतंही कॅटेगरिकल व्हेरिएबल नाहीये. कॅटेगरी प्रमाणे ते उतरते किंवा चढत्या क्रमामध्ये नाहीये. मग हे एफ टेस्ट आहे. कळलं एवढं? Have I made it very clear? Should we go to Excel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And students, I can understand that statistics, तसंही statistics समजायला थोडं अवघड असतं आणि एका दिवसाचं काम नाहीये हे तुम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये, but why I am trying to cover as much as things as possible so that somewhere if you realize, Arey, I was doing this and madam had told something about it, you can definitely give me a call or a message me. If it is in my ability, I'll help you out. Okay. Then this was what some of the student was asking, that is the correlation coefficient and regression. आता हे रिलेशनशिप साठी आहे, इथं सॅम्पलचं काही नाहीये, इथं रिलेशनशिप बघायचंय. सो कोरिलेशन जेव्हा आपण बघतो, so your correlation R, mostly all of us are going to calculate R, and depending on your N, आता here comes your sample. See, some of the student asked me sample size. Sample size चा काय फरक पडतो ते मी सांगते तुम्हाला. आता see here. See, suppose एका स्टुडंटनी फक्त 12 सॅम्पल साइज घेतली, 12, तर what is the correlation coefficient at this level? It is 0.7. म्हणजे रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन ए अँड बी हा 0.7 किंवा त्याच्यापेक्षा जास्त असेल तरच ते सिग्निफिकंट रिलेशनशिप आहे असे गृहीत धरले जाईल. ओके, पण जर आय इन्क्रीज माय सॅम्पल, सी हियर द सेम थिंग हॅपेंड विथ मी. I increase the sample, even a 0.3301, एवढं कमी correlation आलं, then also it is accepted because the sample size is much more. So more the sample size, more is that you go towards normality. It is the central limit theorem. जेवढे सॅम्पल तुम्ही कलेक्ट कराल तेवढं जास्त तुम्ही पॉप्युलेशनच्या जवळ जात आहात. That is why it becomes more and more significant because it has been analyzed for a greater sample. That is why correlation depends on the sample size. Now, this is one of the examples. It records the distance of the districts from the coast and the amount of rainfall received. सो जसं तुम्ही कोस्ट वरनं दूर जाता, मुंबई 10 किलोमीटर, रायगड 15 किलोमीटर, नाशिक 123, कोस्ट पासून जसं दूर जाता तसं पाऊस, वाय इज व्हॉट इज वाय इज द अमाऊंट ऑफ रेनफॉल रिसिव्ड, तसा पाऊस बदलतो. सी इयर पाऊस मुंबईला एवढा आहे, रायगडला एवढा आहे, सगळ्यात जास्त कोण आहे औरंगाबादला एवढं आहे. मग इज देअर अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द डिस्टन्स फ्रॉम द कोस्ट अँड द अमाऊंट ऑफ रेनफॉल रिसिव्ड? सो दॅट विल तुमचा आर येईल, जो काही आर येईल तुम्हाला तो त्याच्या तो टेस्ट करायचा आहे. सो दिस इज द फॉर्म्युला. हा दिसतोय तुम्हाला फॉर्म्युला? मुद्दामून मी तो मोठा लिहिलाय सो दॅट एव्हरीवेअर. सो we perform a hypothesis test that is known as he t hat. Don't confuse this t with the t table value. T, this is not students t test, this is for correlation. So here I was talking of r square. इथं तुम्हाला r square काढावं लागेल. What is r square? Explained variance. Explained variance म्हणजे काय? Suppose there are two people A and B. The relationship between them is 0.8. That is r. r square किती झालं? 0.8 चा स्क्वेअर म्हणजे किती झाला? 0.64. Am I audible, students?
Yes, madam. Yes.
So 0.64, that means 64%. That means the variability in B, suppose we are just supposing that B is dependent on A. बी मधली जी काही व्हेरिएबिलिटी आहे 64% ए त्याच्याबद्दल सांगू शकतो. 64% of the variability in B can be explained by A. This is very important. That means they have a very good, more the good correlation, more is the explained variance. Let us come to climatology. Sorry, I'm giving all the examples from climatology, but because that is my area. Suppose I want to see rainfall. Okay. Now, rainfall depends on, suppose, sea surface temperature. The relationship between sea surface temperature and rainfall is 0.6. That is R. And then I find the R square, 0.36. That means 36% of the variance in rainfall, म्हणजे rainfall हा जो कमी जास्त होत असतो त्याच्यातले 36% हा SST च्या बदलामुळे होतो. कळलं एवढं की the variability in the rainfall is 36% attributable to the variability in SST. Okay. Now, if 36% is due to SST, then what about the remaining? What is remaining? 30, 40, 64% हे बाकीचे घटक असतील, बरोबर? So what are those other factors which are contributing 64%? So the researcher will get momentum if you understand the R square. Okay, is it clear, students? So
Yes, ma'am.
we perform, so whatever R value you get, you have to see whether it is significant. आपको तो correlation 0.8 भी मिलेगा, but 0.8 आपको see here, you are getting a correlation of 0.8, but you are taking only 8 samples, तो 0.8 भी significant नहीं है. दिखाई दिया आपको? और कभी कभी even 0.48 can be significant. It depends on the sample size. So if the test concludes that the correlation coefficient is significantly different from 0, क्योंकि 0 means no correlation. So 0 नहीं है, कुछ तो association है. So आपका test आप जब ये करते हो, when you compare your test value with the table value, you have sufficient evidence to conclude, आपके पास काफी सबूत है, हाँ इन दोनों में relationship है. If your t value is beyond the critical value. In other, okay, so this is all about regression. Regression and correlation are same. The only difference is correlation will just tell you that this is the association. But इस association का mean condition लेके उसमें से best fit line करना है और उस line को आगे आप you can predict, that becomes regress. that is regression. So one step ahead of correlation is regression. But दोनों इसमें आपको R square निकालना ही है. आपका R square explained variance, नहीं तो आपका R square होगा सिर्फ 10% and आपका पूरा thesis 10% के ऊपर है. No, this factor is very important, ये वगैरह. And when the examiner asks, अरे it is explaining only 10% of the variability in the dependent variable. What about the remaining 90%? Then you are in a fix. So you should always check what is your, and that is, these all formulas you will get in the internet. Now very quickly I'll come here. So this was the data which this before and after. So this is paired t test. अब इसको analyze कैसे करना है paired t test को? So you go to data. Okay, is my Excel sheet visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Please let me know if something goes wrong. Data, where is it? Okay, you have to add in. आपका Excel में बहुत सारे add-ins रहते हैं. You have to add in. It will take some time. Deliberately I did not. I wanted to show you the process. You go to options, Excel options. And then you say add-ins. Add-ins में ये जो analysis tool pack उसको आपको add in करना है. Okay? Okay. Go बोलना चाहिए था. Options. Go. So you can, when you say go, you can see. You can tick mark only analysis tool pack. I am doing for all. Okay. Now it will add into this system. Can you see add हो गया यहाँ पे, because this version is much Microsoft Office का बहुत न्यू ईयर वर्जन है, बहुत जल्दी हो गया, बट आपका लेट हो सकता है. So you can see here a new tab has come, data analysis. Can you see data analysis? Click it.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, so same thing. So ये जो है, see here ANOVA, 2 factor है, correlation, F test, Fourier analysis, moving averages, T test. अभी ये क्या है? पहले तो computer is not going to tell you what you have to do. You have to think. Now this is before after. Means the same sample you have to compare before and after. That means this is paired T test. So go to data analysis. Where is T test? See here, T test paired 2 samples for means. So okay. Variable 1 range. This is the range for variable 1. Variable 2, you can also take the titles, that is not a problem. And then it will ask you alpha. Alpha is the risk, कि आप कितना risk लेना चाहते हो. Yeah, you can decide the risk here. You say okay. Now done. Done at one click. It was so simple. Okay, now अब आपको ये just I'll complete this and you ask me.
Yeah, ma'am, sure.
See here. अब आपको ये, अब suppose I was dealing with two tail कि after what was the question? Let me see, before and after का क्या question था? Significantly decreased और increase. तो मुझे दोनों देखना है कि वो जो मैंने आफ्टर फर्टिलाइजर्स यूज करने के बाद whether it has significantly decreased or whether it has significantly or whether there is no change. So my null hypothesis will be, null hypothesis is there is no difference before and after the application of fertilizers. अभी ये what was the alpha level? My significance level was 0.005. 0.05. That was my significance level. अगर मेरा 0.05 से कम आना चाहिए, क्योंकि मेरा ये क्रिटिकल लिमिट है, उसके नीचे आना चाहिए, बट ये कितना आया है टू टेल में? 0.29. दैट मीन्स ये अगर मैं ग्राफ में दिखाऊं, हियर आई विल शो यू ऑन ग्राफ. ये मेरा 0.025 so ये 0.025 प्रोबेबिलिटी इतना एरिया है, एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो 0.025 प्रोबेबिलिटी.
ठीक है, and this is 0.29, so it will be somewhere here 0.29, क्योंकि 0.2 प्रोबेबिलिटी मतलब ज्यादा एरिया, ये वाला एरिया. ओके, दैट मीन्स इट इज नियर नॉर्मल, इट इज नॉट गोइंग बियॉन्ड, मतलब दोनों में कोई फर्क नहीं है, it is behaving, so I accept the null hypothesis. Yes, the question now. There was
Yes, ma'am. Now here the sample size is very small. Okay, but
Yes.
it will show you very what we can say.
You can speak in the language which you prefer.
मॅम ते खूप विचित्र अनालिसिस किंवा रिझल्ट ते दाखवतं ज्यावेळेला तुमचा सॅम्पल साईज हा 400 किंवा 500 असेल.
विचित्र म्हणजे काय विचित्र असतं?
म्हणजे तुम्ही तुमचं जे टू टेल किंवा हे जे आता अनालिसिस त्यांनी दिलेलं आहे, हे अनालिसिस आपल्याला पाहिजे तसं नाही. म्हणजे जसं तुम्ही तुमच्या रिसर्च मध्ये तुम्हाला अनुभव आला तर तसंच होतंय. तर हायपोथेसिस टेस्ट करता येत नाही मग अशा वेळी.
नाही, पण एक तर तुमचं हे बघा, एक तर तुमचं हे येईल, आय कॅन अंडरस्टँड, हे येणार आहे तुमचं की तुम्ही नल हायपोथेसिस तुमचा एक्सेप्ट होतो, आणि ही सगळ्यात दुःखदायक गोष्ट आहे की आपल्याला असं वाटतं की अरे काहीच बदल नाही झाला. बट मन लहान नका करू, दॅट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रिझल्ट. पण उगाच ते येत नाही आणि तरी ते डेटा मॅन्युप्युलेट करून येत, दॅट इज रॉंग. कारण का कुठं ना कुठं तुम्ही सापडलेच जाणार, डेटावरनं सापडणार किंवा आर स्क्वेअर वरनं, कुठं ना कुठं ग्राफ वरनं, कारण हा जो कुठं ना कुठं ते सापडलं जाणार. अँड इट इज व्हेरी इझी टू डिटेक्ट दॅट वी हॅव मॅन्युप्युलेटेड डेटा. सो व्हॉट एव्हर द आन्सर कम्स, यू जस्ट हॅव टू एक्सेप्ट इट.
हो, त्यामुळेच मी तो हायपोथेसिस जो पोर्शन होता तोच मी डिलीट केला आता.
नाही, पण कुठे ना कुठे ते पुढे पण तुम्ही, कारण का आर करणार, काहीतरी करणार, तर त्याच्यामध्ये ते दिसणारच आहे.
मॅम काय स्क्वेअर पण सांगा ना प्लीज, काय स्क्वेअर.
मॅडम एक अजून विचारायचं होतं, विथ युअर परमिशन.
येस, शुअर, प्लीज.
प्रामुख्याने डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम जेव्हा करतो आपण, तर नंबर ऑफ सॅम्पल जे राहतात, आता टेबल मध्ये मी जे अनुभवलं ते सांगतोय फक्त, की डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम काढताना नंबर ऑफ सॅम्पल -1 n-1 आपण करून ते डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम काढतो.
नाही, तसं नाही काय n-1 वगैरे. मी तुला डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम म्हणजे काय ते सांगते. बघा, सोप्या भाषेत, जेवढं तुम्ही सोप्या भाषेत ते समजाल ना, की तुम्हाला कधीच अवघड नाही होणार. सपोज मला व्हेरिएबल घ्यायचे, मला 5 व्हेरिएबल घ्यायचे ना, मोजून ठेव, मला 5 केसेस पाहिजे, मला 5 सॅम्पल्स घ्यायचे. त्याच्यातल्या पहिल्या सॅम्पलची व्हॅल्यू होती माझी 40, दुसऱ्या सॅम्पलची आली 42, तिसऱ्या सॅम्पलची आली 38, चौथ्या सॅम्पलची आली 40. आता मला सांगितलं गेलंय की मीन, कारण का प्री डेफिनेट आपण एक क्रिटिकल व्हॅल्यू, मीन हा 150च यायला पाहिजे. मीन शुड बी 150. नाव इफ आय हॅव अ कंडिशन, what is the freedom that I can take this value? I don't have any freedom to choose the 5th value. So in that case, my degrees of freedom is n-1, because I can choose only 4 observations from my mind. मी 4 ऑब्झर्वेशन मी माझ्या मनाची सांगू शकते, पण 5वा हा, बिकॉज आय हॅव अ कंडिशन की 150, 5व्याची व्हॅल्यू किती यायला पाहिजे? 40 40 40 40 120 120, 30च यायला पाहिजे, बरोबर? तरच मला, सॉरी नॉट मीन, समेशन एक्स, तरच मला हे येईल ना, व्हॅल्यू 150 येणार. म्हणजे मी 4 व्हॅल्यू, मी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की 5 व्हॅल्यू गृहीत धरा, तर तुम्ही 4 व्हॅल्यू तुमच्या मनाप्रमाणे घेऊ शकता, पण 5वी नाही घेऊ शकत, कारण का तुम्हाला कंडिशन काय दिली आहे की तुमची बेरीज ही 150 यायला पाहिजे. म्हणजे इथं डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम काय झालं? n-1. ओके, आता दुसरी केस घ्या. तुम्ही कोरिलेशन करताय, कोरिलेशन मध्ये 2 व्हेरिएबल असतात, तर त्याच्यात पण तुम्हाला हे सांगितलंय की 2 3 4 तुम्ही मनातले व्हॅल्यूज घ्या, पण तुम्हाला एक कंडिशन दिलेली आहे. आता ती कंडिशनमुळे तुम्ही शेवटची व्हॅल्यू घेऊ शकत नाही, कारण का ती कंडिशन दिली आहे. ओके, मग तुमची डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम या केसमध्ये काय झाली? याच्यातले तुम्ही 3 घेऊ शकता, याच्यातले 3 घेऊ शकता, म्हणजे टोटल डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम किती झाली? n-2. So it depends on the data. सो दॅट इज डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम. डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम आपण उगाच कन्फ्युज होतो. डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम, अरे की काही काही वेळेला 1 असते, काही काही वेळेला 2 असते, काही काही वेळेला काहीतरी 5 असते. जर माझ्याकडे 5 सॅम्पल असतील तर ती 5 होणार ना, कारण का प्रत्येकामधनं मी एक घेऊ शकणार नाही. म्हणजे रो जेव्हा एक असतो तर माझ्याकडे हे सगळे घेऊ शकते एक्सेप्ट 1. So when I have 1 row, it will be n minus 1. But if I have 5 columns, it will be n minus 5. Is it clear? Degrees of freedom?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is why the name is degrees of freedom. How much freedom I have to choose my observations. So I have n minus 1 freedom if there is 1 column. Okay, I'm continuing with this. तर हे आपलं सगळ्यांना पेअर टी टेस्ट आता जमलेले बघा, एका सेकंदात उत्तर येतं. पण हे उत्तर आता आपल्याला माहिती आहे की कसं करायचं म्हणून सोपं गेलंय. ठीक आहे. दुसरं सेम शीट झाली का? हा, दिस इज अनोवा. मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं होतं ना की मी 3 वेगवेगळ्या टोपोशीट मधनं ती लेंथ मेजर केलेली आहे. आता मला बघायचंय की तिन्ही वेगळे आहेत का, की ऍटलीस्ट एक तरी वेगळं आहे का, ते एकदम सिग्निफिकंटली वेगळं आहे का. कोणतं वेगळं आहे? एकदा हे उत्तर आलं ना की वेगळं आहे, वन्स इट कम्स दॅट दिस इज डिफरंट, देन आय कॅन गो फॉर फर्दर रिसर्च. बट फर्स्ट आय हॅव टू सी दॅट वेदर दे आर सेम और दे आर सिग्निफिकंटली डिफरंट. सो अगेन गो टू डेटा अनालिसिस. वेअर इज इट? यू गो युअर डेटा टॅब वरती केल्यावरती डेटा अनालिसिस. सो इट इज अनोवा. अनोवा 2 factor with replication, I don't know, without replication. Okay, input range. So you just, this is my input range, these are the values. Alpha I'm setting, so okay. You can see the p value, it is so small, 1.71 to the power of 25, म्हणजे 0.000000025 झिरो लावल्यानंतर 1.71 आहे. ती ऑब्वियसली 0.05 पेक्षा कमी आहे. सो इन दिस केस you have accepted the alternative hypothesis. What was the alternative? Yes, there is a difference if you measure the length of the stream on different topographical scales. Okay, is this clear? Should I move ahead? The time is running out. Then this is correlation. Most of the students are worried about this, so I'll just show you correlation. Insert, you say scatter. See here, now this is an outlier, what the girl was talking about. Now this outlier I have to check that ये क्या, कौन सा आउटलायर है, कौन सा पॉइंट है. तो वो पॉइंट चेक करके मैंने गलत तो नहीं लिया, वो देखना है. Now this outlier is going to pull my regression line towards itself, so that is going to reduce my R square. So देखते हैं इसका R square कितना आता है. इसको क्लिक करो, राइट क्लिक, add trend line. So there are many options here. You go for linear. See, my regression is not the best fit line because this outlier has made that point. And then display the equation. If you want to predict, you can display and display R square. Okay. So what is the R square here? It is just 58. अब इसको वो फॉर्मूला यूज करना है, T इज इक्वल टू R 1 माइनस एन, वो फॉर्मूला दिया था ना लास्ट पेज पे, वो यूज करके देखना है कि इसका जो रिलेशनशिप है वो सच में सिग्निफिकेंट है या नहीं है. दैट यू यूज द T वैल्यू and you have a table of T, you can easily see it. Okay, now this was the correlation only between 2 variables. I have not touched multivariate, but जाते जाते मैं multivariate को टच करके जाती हूँ. मेरे पास डिसर्टेशन PhD के लिए कभी भी 2 वेरिएबल नहीं है. I have so many variables. Then what you do, सभी वेरिएबल्स का एक साथ कोरिलेशन निकालना है. तो see, I have here 4 variables. Okay, अब मुझे देखना है 1 का 2 के साथ क्या संबंध है, 1 का 3 के साथ क्या संबंध है, 1 का 4 के साथ क्या संबंध है. इस तरह से मुझे देखना है. ओके, सिमिलरली 2 का. सो व्हाट यू डू, you again you go to data analysis. See here, you can see correlation. Okay, input range, Now they have said that are they grouped by columns or row? मैंने कैसे group किया है? See, this is very important. तो ऐसे होगा तो it will give me 6 variables, but my variables are in rows. So मैं यहाँ पे rows करना है. So this is my input range. Okay. See here. The answer is in 1 second. मैन्युअली इसको करते करते आपको 1 घंटे से ज्यादा लगेगा, बट इसका मतलब है कि ये x2 और x1 का इट्स अ नेगेटिव रिलेशनशिप, देन यू कैन टेस्ट एंड ट्राई ईच वन ऑफ देम. थर्ड एंड फर्स्ट का, सो यहाँ पे सबसे अच्छा कोरिलेशन फोर्थ एंड 1 का है. Okay, so just using some simple techniques in Excel, you can do wonderful things. Okay, this is just one of the examples I wanted to show, and I wanted to ask, this is a data. यहाँ पे मुझे देखना है कि यहाँ पे रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी दिया है, सो सीजन के हिसाब से दिया है और लैंड के हिसाब से दिया है, जहां जहां पे इरिगेशन प्रोवाइड किया गया है और जहां पे इरिगेशन बिल्कुल प्रोवाइड नहीं किया गया है. So which test I should use here? This is just a simple question to all of you before I go. Can anybody answer me?
Chi-square.
It is not categorized. It is not इसके categories नहीं बने हैं. It is not chi-square. chi-square में अगर आपने देखा तो grouping हुआ था, इसमें groups वैसे नहीं है. It is not chi-square. इसीलिए that is what you have to think a lot. This is ANOVA. बट दिस इज 2-वे अनोवा. अब अनोवा में 2 प्रकार रहता है, 1-वे अनोवा एंड 2-वे अनोवा. जो मैंने यहाँ पे दिखाया था, दिस इज 1-वे अनोवा, कि इसका ग्रुप एक ही साइड से है, दोनों साइड से नहीं है. तो इसमें क्या है, दैट जो वेरिएबल है, दिस वेरिएबल इज लेंथ ऑफ स्ट्रीम्स. द लेंथ ऑफ स्ट्रीम्स दे वेरी अकॉर्डिंग टू द मैप स्केल. दिस वाज ओनली 1 वे, बट व्हेन आई टेल यू this relative humidity, does it vary according to does it vary according to season, does it vary according to irrigation, or whether the variation in relative humidity is an interaction between season and irrigation. So this is a 2-way ANOVA. Okay, have you understood this, my students?
Yes, ma'am.
So like this, there are many once you start doing, you will come across many things, and as I told you, you have to understand that what you are doing. Statistic is just a tool to help you. Just from seeing the numbers, see here, just from seeing the numbers, you don't know that what is going to be the relation. Just from seeing the numbers, आपको ये numbers देख के पता नहीं चलता है कि there is a significant difference. Numbers देख के बिल्कुल पता नहीं चलता है, but हमने अभी analyze किया था तो आया ना that there was a significant difference. So hypothesis testing is just going to help you to accept your null hypothesis or not. So this is all from my side. I hope I have at least, so my null hypothesis is, there is, I want to reject the null hypothesis, I want to accept the null hypothesis. At least after my lecture, you have 1% of inferential statistics you have understood. So that's all, students. I hope you do very well in your PhD research. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. And if there is any doubt, okay, I'll just give you my number. So you can always put a message. How do I? Okay. So this is my number.
Ma'am, you have stopped sharing the screen now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Listen now. I don't know whether I'll be really able to help you people, but as per my knowledge goes, so this is my number. You can always put a message. Normally, I don't, I'm very bad at receiving the calls. So, but before going to sleep, I always see the messages and I try to reply from my side. So anytime, if you have any difficulty related to the use of statistical methods, if I am able to help you all, I'll be very happy. Okay, students? Thank you so much. Should I stop sharing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my duty to propose a vote of thanks of today's session. First of all, I would like to express my feeling of gratitude towards Dr. Himlata Patel ma'am for his gracious and enlightening presence and sparing time with us and given a valuable guidance in that session. I would like to give my special thank to the coordinator of this coursework, Dr. Monesh Kumar Dhule sir, co-coordinator Ganesh Dhavle sir, for their organization support and motivating in this coursework. I am also thankful to Thakre ma'am to lead the today's session in the absence of our coordinator. I am thankful to our supportive members of Red Group to run the session and all those who have given their contribution to arrange this session. I am thankful to all the participants for their participation and being presence in the session. So with the permission of chair, I declare this session is over. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, students. Bye bye.
Thank you, madam.